Let me tell you something powerful. Your dreams are not random. They're not accidents. They're a reflection of what you're capable of becoming. Every vision that's ever stirred your soul was placed there for a reason. The problem is, most people stop at the dream. They see it, they feel it, but they don't know how to bring it to life because their energy is scattered. You can't live a life of purpose if your energy is stuck in distraction, doubt, and fear. You can't create greatness while you're feeding thoughts that drain you. You can't reach the next level while you're focused on everything that's missing, on what could go wrong, or on who didn't believe in you. Your dream demands energy, focused, intentional, unstoppable energy. Think about it, energy flows where attention goes. Wherever your focus goes, your life follows. If you focus on what's wrong, you'll live in limitation. If you focus on what's possible, you'll live in expansion. That's not philosophy. That's physics. That's the energy of creation itself. So when I say focus on your dreams, I don't mean just think about them. I mean align your entire being with them. Your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, your habits, your standards, everything. You have to become the kind of person who matches the energy of what you desire. You want abundance. You can't vibrate at the level of scarcity. You want love. You can't move through the world carrying bitterness and resentment. You want freedom. You can't stay locked in the prison of old excuses. You have to shift your energy, and that shift begins inside. There's a moment where you decide, I'm done leaking my power. I'm done giving my energy to things that don't serve me. That's the moment transformation begins. Because you can't change your life by fighting your old story. You change it by writing a new one and putting your focus there every single day. Your dream doesn't respond to half-hearted effort. It responds to vibrational certainty. The feeling that you've already claimed it, that it's already yours. You can't wait for the right time, the right people, or the perfect plan. You have to move now. The universe responds to motion, not hesitation. Every time you doubt yourself, every time you shrink back, every time you say, maybe later, you're training your mind to live in delay. But when you shift your energy and say, I decide now, everything changes. Doors open, resources appear, the right people show up. Why? Because energy attracts energy. You become a magnet for what matches your frequency. So ask yourself right now, what am I focusing on? Is my energy feeding my dreams or my fears? Is it expanding me or draining me? Because that awareness alone can flip the switch. When you focus on your dreams, really focus, you start living from your higher self. You stop reacting and start creating. You stop waiting and start moving. You stop wishing and start believing. You can feel that moment when your energy shifts. You feel it in your body. The fire returns. The fog clears. You remember who you are. You remember why you started. That's your power. That's your fuel. Don't let the noise of the world distract you. Don't let anyone convince you that your dream is too big or that your time has passed. The dream wouldn't exist if it wasn't meant for you. But you have to feed it. You have to protect it. You have to focus your energy like a laser, not a flickering candle, but a blazing beam of purpose. Energy flows where your focus goes. It's not just a catchy phrase. It's the foundation of how reality responds to you. Everything in life is energy. Everything you feel, think, believe, and act upon sends out a frequency that the universe mirrors back. Your focus is the steering wheel of that energy. Where you direct it determines where your life moves. The problem is most people never realize how powerful their focus truly is. They allow it to scatter, to drift toward worry, toward the opinions of others, toward things they can't control, and then they wonder why they feel drained, why progress feels slow, why everything seems a pill. It's because their focus is feeding the wrong things. What you feed grows. What you starve dies. When you put your focus on fear, fear expands. When you fixate on what's missing, lack multiplies. But when you turn your focus toward your dreams, toward gratitude, toward solutions, that energy expands. The quality of your life follows the quality of your focus. Every moment you are focusing on something, whether you realize it or not. Most people are on autopilot, reacting to their environment, scrolling through noise, replaying past pain, imagining future problems. That's not neutral energy, it's leakage. Your focus is being hijacked by negativity, by distractions designed to steal your attention. If you want to transform your life, you must take back control of that energy. You must decide what deserves your attention and what doesn't. You must treat your focus like sacred ground because it's the soil where your destiny grows. Every thought you plant in that soil takes root somewhere in your life. If you plant doubt, you harvest delay. If you plant courage, you harvest growth. Energy doesn't discriminate. It amplifies whatever you feed it. That's why awareness is the starting point. You can't shift what you don't see. When you become aware of how much time you spend thinking about problems instead of possibilities, you start to reclaim your power. The mind is a magnet. Whatever dominates it shapes your emotional state. Focus on anger long enough and you'll find reasons to stay angry. Focus on progress and you'll find doors where others see walls. You get what you consistently focus on, whether you want it or not. That's why success begins with mental discipline. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing to channel your energy into what moves you forward. There's a reason why the most successful people in the world protect their focus like it's oxygen. They understand that one moment of distraction can cost momentum. They know that clarity is power. They've trained themselves to see opportunity where others see obstacles. It's not because they're lucky or gifted. It's because they've mastered the art of directing energy. They've learned that focus is a muscle, and what you practice grows stronger. Every time you redirect your attention from chaos to purpose, you build that muscle. Every time you choose presence over panic, gratitude over complaint, you shift your frequency higher. Over time, that becomes your default state, grounded, intentional, unstoppable. Think about your daily life. Where does your energy go? How much time do you spend thinking about what you can't change? How much of your mental bandwidth goes to things that don't serve you? Because every minute of focus spent on something powerless is energy lost from what could be powerful. People say they want success, but they're focusing on failure. They say they want peace, but they're focusing on drama. They say they want love, but they're focusing on wounds. The universe can only respond to what you focus on. It doesn't understand contradictions. It reads your energy, not your words. If your focus is on lack, your vibration says, not enough, and that's what you attract more of. If your focus is on abundance, your vibration says, overflow, and opportunities begin to appear. You can't control everything that happens around you, but you can always control what you give your energy to. That's where your real power lies. The shift begins when you stop reacting and start creating. When you stop letting circumstances dictate your state and start letting your focus shape your state. Energy flows toward intention. Every time you say, I'm going to focus on what I can do, what I can learn, what I can grow into, you redirect the current of your life. You stop swimming against the tide and start flowing with it. You feel lighter, clearer, stronger because you're no longer fighting yourself. The truth is you've been powerful all along. You just forgot where your power comes from. It's not in the noise, not in the approval of others, not in perfect timing. It's in your focus. What you focus on consistently becomes your reality. It's like aiming a flashlight in a dark room. Whatever you point it at becomes visible, becomes alive. Most people aim that flashlight at the wrong things, problems, pain, what's unfair, and they wonder why they feel trapped in darkness. But when you turn that beam toward vision, gratitude, purpose, everything begins to look different. The room didn't change. Your focus did. Every challenge, every setback, every moment of uncertainty gives you two choices: focus on the problem or focus on the power within you. One drains you, the other fuels you. One keeps you stuck, the other pulls you forward. The energy of your life is neutral until you direct it. The moment you focus on growth, you start to rise. The moment you focus on faith instead of fear, you open a door. The moment you focus on what's possible instead of what's missing, your energy shifts, and with it, your reality begins to shift too. This is the secret behind every breakthrough. It's not about luck or magic. It's about focus. Whatever you give your energy to expands, multiplies, and eventually defines you. If you focus on strength, you become stronger. If you focus on healing, you begin to heal. If you focus on becoming the person who deserves your dream, that dream begins to chase you back. Your energy is your currency. Spend it wisely, because every thought, every emotion, every moment of focus is shaping the direction of your life in ways you can't even see yet. Align your vibration with your vision. This is where the real transformation begins. You can dream all day, set goals, write affirmations, but if your internal state doesn't match the frequency of what you want, it will always feel just out of reach. Everything in existence vibrates at a frequency. Your emotions, your thoughts, your actions, your beliefs. When you want something, you're essentially saying, I desire to match that vibration. But most people live misaligned. They want success, but their energy is rooted in fear. They want love, but their hearts are closed off. They want abundance, but they think in scarcity. You can't attract something that's operating at a different energetic level than you. You have to rise to meet it. When your vibration aligns with your vision, life begins to flow differently. Things that used to feel hard start unfolding effortlessly. The right people begin showing up, doors start opening, and you begin to feel pulled instead of pushed. That's not coincidence, it's coherence. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions vibrate in harmony with your dream, you become a magnet for it. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer struggle for alignment, you live in it. The challenge is that most people try to create change from the outside in. They think if they work harder, push more, or fix everything externally, things will fall into place. But alignment is an inside job. It's about energy before effort, vibration before action. When you get your energy right, your actions become amplified. To align your vibration with your vision, you first have to know what that vision truly feels like. Close your eyes and imagine the life you desire. Not just what it looks like, but how it feels in your body. Feel the peace, the confidence, the excitement, the certainty of already having it. That emotion is your energetic signature. That's the vibration you need to carry with you before the results show up. Most people wait to feel successful until they achieve success, but that's backward. You have to feel it first to align with it. Your emotions are your energetic signal to the universe. They tell life what frequency you're tuned into. If your vision is vibrating at the level of joy and you're vibrating at the level of worry, you're out of sync. And as long as you're out of sync, the vision can't lock in. It takes awareness to see where you're misaligned. Listen to your self-talk. Pay attention to your feelings. Notice your reactions. Are they expanding you or contracting you? When you think about your dream, do you feel inspired or intimidated? Because your emotional response tells you whether you're vibrating in harmony with your vision or against it. The goal isn't to fake positivity, it's to shift into authenticity, to release the limiting beliefs, the fears, the doubts that lower your frequency. Every time you let go of an old story, I'm not ready, I'm not enough, it's too hard, your vibration rises. And as it rises, the gap between you and your dream gets smaller. You become aligned when your beliefs support your vision. If you say you want freedom, but you believe you're trapped, you're sending mixed signals. If you say you want abundance, but you keep telling yourself money is hard to make, you're contradicting your energy. The universe doesn't respond to words, it responds to vibration. You can say affirmations all day long, but if your emotional energy doesn't match them, they're just noise. True alignment happens when what you think, feel, and do are all speaking the same language. That's when your energy becomes powerful, consistent, undeniable. Alignment is not about perfection. It's about awareness and adjustment. You don't have to stay in high vibration all the time, but you do have to recognize when you've fallen out of sync and consciously choose to shift. Maybe that means taking a deep breath, stepping away from negativity, reminding yourself of your vision, or doing something that reignites your energy. You're constantly tuning your frequency moment by moment. The more often you bring yourself back into alignment, the faster your reality shifts. It's not about affording your way to success. It's about embodying the energy of it until it feels natural. When you align your vibration, your actions start carrying more power. You're no longer forcing outcomes, you're allowing them. You begin to trust the timing of your life. You stop needing everything to happen right now because you know it's already unfolding. That inner peace, that faith, that confidence, that's alignment. And from that place, even your smallest steps produce massive results because they're backed by congruent energy. You become unstoppable because you're no longer fighting against your own frequency. People often confuse alignment with waiting, but alignment is active. It's not about sitting around hoping things change. It's about becoming the person who naturally attracts what they want. It's waking up every day and saying, how can I vibrate in harmony with my dream today? That means thinking the thoughts your future self would think, feeling the emotions your future self would feel, taking the actions your future self would take. When you do that consistently, your future becomes your present. You close the gap between who you are and who you're becoming. Energy alignment also means letting go of what doesn't resonate. Some relationships, habits, environments, and even thought patterns can lower your vibration. You can't stay aligned while holding on to things that drain you. It's not personal. It's energetic. You have to choose what feeds your vision over what feeds your comfort zone. Every time you choose peace over chaos, growth over gossip, discipline over distraction, your frequency rises. And every time your frequency rises, your vision gets closer. Your vibration is your broadcast signal. It's how you communicate with the universe. When you align it with your vision, you're saying, this is who I am. This is what I'm ready for, and life responds in kind. Opportunities, ideas, synchronicities, they all start aligning with that signal. But if your broadcast is filled with doubt and fear, the response will reflect that too. That's why emotional mastery is key. You don't wait for external validation to feel aligned. You generate that state from within. You become the source of your own energy, not a victim of circumstance. The higher your vibration, the faster your manifestations arrive. That's not magic, that's resonance. When you vibrate at the same level as your vision, it's no longer a goal, it's a match. It becomes inevitable because energetically you're already living it. The moment you realize that alignment is not about getting more, but becoming more, everything changes. You start focusing less on controlling the outcome and more on controlling your frequency. You start understanding that life isn't happening to you, it's responding to you. Every thought, every emotion, every choice is either aligning you closer to your dream or pulling you further away. That's why alignment is a daily practice, not a one-time event. You align every time you choose belief over fear, every time you act with purpose, every time you honor your intuition. Your vision is calling you not to chase it, but to become it. When your vibration matches your vision, you're no longer seeking. You're simply allowing. The energy of what you want begins to flow toward you naturally and consistently because you've finally tuned yourself to receive it. Stop feeding distractions. Start fueling purpose. Because where your attention goes, your destiny grows. Every second of your life, your mind is feeding on something. Every scroll, every conversation, every worry, every thought is energy in motion. And most people spend their days feeding things that weaken them instead of things that strengthen them. Distractions are silent thieves. They look harmless, but they're stealing your time, your clarity, and your potential. You wake up with big dreams, big intentions, but by midday, you've already given your focus away to things that don't matter. The human mind wasn't built to thrive in constant noise. You can't plant seeds of greatness in soil filled with chaos. You have to clear the clutter, reclaim your focus, and start feeding what feeds you. Every time you check your phone without purpose, every time you engage in gossip, every time you overthink the opinions of others, you're feeding distraction. You're giving your life force away in tiny doses until you have nothing left for your purpose. Purpose requires presence, and presence requires discipline. You cannot be powerful if you're constantly distracted. Distraction breaks momentum, and momentum is the lifeblood of progress. One small distraction might seem harmless, but multiplied by days, months, and years, it becomes the reason dreams never materialize. You have to understand that every distraction comes with a cost, and that cost is your focus. The world is designed to pull your attention in 1,000 directions. Every advertisement, every notification, every algorithm is fighting for your energy. But here's the truth. Nothing can take your focus unless you give it permission. You are the gatekeeper of your energy. The moment you decide to protect your focus, everything changes. You start saying no to things that once drained you. You start prioritizing what actually moves you forward. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. Because once you know what you're here to do, distractions lose their power. Purpose gives you direction. It makes you immune to trivial noise. When you live with purpose, you operate differently. You wake up with clarity instead of confusion. You move with intention instead of impulse. You stop wasting energy on things that don't align with your vision. You begin to ask yourself, does this feed my purpose or my distraction? That simple question can transform your life. Because once you start measuring your actions by how they align with your mission, you stop settling for average. You stop chasing quick dopamine hits and you start building real fulfillment. Purpose feeds your soul in a way that distractions never can. You have to make a conscious decision to feed your purpose daily. That means building habits that align with your vision. Read things that expand your mind, not drain it. Spend time around people who fuel your drive, not your doubts. Create routines that energize you instead of exhaust you. Purpose isn't found in a single moment of clarity. It's built through consistent action, one focused decision at a time. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you're feeding your purpose. Every time you choose creation over consumption, you're building the foundation of your dream. Distractions aren't always obvious. Sometimes they disguise themselves as productivity. Doing too many things, saying yes to everything, keeping busy instead of being effective. But business without purpose is just another form of avoidance. It feels like progress, but it's motion without direction. True focus requires saying no to good things so you can say yes to great things. It's about aligning your effort with your mission, not your mood. You don't need to do more. You need to do what matters most with full presence. That's how you build momentum. That's how you create power. Purpose demands sacrifice. You have to let go of the comfort of distraction. You have to be willing to disconnect from the noise to reconnect with yourself. Silence is where clarity is born. Stillness is where vision strengthens. The world may tell you to always be online, always be visible, always be hustling, but real power comes from alignment, not activity. It comes from doing fewer things with greater focus. Every minute you spend on distraction is a minute stolen from your purpose. You cannot build your dream while entertaining everything that tries to steal your attention. Think about how much energy you waste worrying about opinions, replaying mistakes, comparing your journey to others. None of that fuels your purpose. All of it drains your power. You have to train your mind to focus on creation instead of consumption, on progress instead of perfection. You have to learn the art of redirection, noticing when your energy is being pulled away and immediately bringing it back to what matters. That's how you regain control of your time, your thoughts, and your life. Every moment you choose focus over distraction, you strengthen your discipline. And discipline is what builds legacies. Purpose isn't always loud or glamorous. Sometimes it's quiet, repetitive, unrecognized. It's the daily grind when nobody's watching. It's the consistency that builds character. Distractions promise quick rewards, but they leave you empty. Purpose takes time, but it fills you with meaning. You can feel the difference in your body. Distraction feels scattered, anxious, and restless. Purpose feels grounded, powerful, and alive. One drains you, the other fuels you. And the more you feed your purpose, the stronger that energy becomes. You begin to attract opportunities, ideas, and people who align with your vision because your energy now radiates clarity. To feed your purpose, you have to make room for it. That means clearing out what no longer serves you. The people who keep you small, the habits that waste your time, the environments that kill your inspiration. You have to become intentional about everything you consume, what you watch, what you listen to, what you talk about. Your energy is precious. Treat it like it matters. Because the more you feed distractions, the weaker your connection to purpose becomes. And the weaker that connection, the easier it is to drift. You can't afford to drift when you're building destiny. There will always be noise. There will always be temptation to look away from your vision. But you have to remember why you started. Every distraction that shows up is a test of how much you value your purpose. Will you give in to comfort or stay committed to growth? Will you choose short-term pleasure or long-term power? Every decision is feeding something. You're either feeding distraction or feeding purpose, and whichever one you feed most will dominate your life. The truth is your purpose is hungry for your attention. It needs your focus, your time, your energy. When you give it what it needs, it grows stronger than your fears, louder than your doubts, and more powerful than any distraction around you. And the moment that happens, you begin to live from a higher state where noise fades, clarity sharpens, and everything you do starts aligning with the life you were meant to live. Become the energy of what you desire, because everything you want already exists in energetic form, waiting for you to match its frequency. You don't attract what you wish for, you attract what you are. The moment you embody the energy of your dream, you begin to magnetize it toward you. Most people think manifestation is about asking and waiting, but it's about becoming. It's about stepping into the emotional, mental, and spiritual state of already having what you seek. You have to live as if it's already yours. Breathe it, walk in it, believe it before the evidence appears. The universe doesn't respond to desperation, it responds to alignment. When your energy radiates certainty, you create momentum that pulls your desires closer. You can't expect abundance while carrying scarcity in your mind. You can't attract love while vibrating in fear and insecurity. You can't call in success while thinking you're not good enough. You have to shift your internal world first. Your outer world is just a mirror reflecting what you hold within. If you want to experience something new, you must become someone new. You can't bring your old energy into your next level. The energy of your desire is pure, expansive, confident, grateful. And to receive it, you must align with it. That means releasing anything that doesn't match it, the self-doubt, the guilt, the resentment, the comparison. You can't hold those low frequencies and expect to create high-frequency results. Becoming the energy of what you desire starts with awareness. You have to ask yourself, what does the version of me who already has this feel like? How do they move? How do they think? How do they speak to themselves? Because everything about that version of you holds a vibration. You can begin to align with it right now by shifting your emotions and behaviors to match it. If your future self walks with confidence, practice walking that way now. If your future self wakes up grateful, practice gratitude today. Every small action you take in that energy signals to the universe that you're ready. You're not waiting, you're becoming. And the more you become, the less resistance you create. Energy doesn't lie. You can't fake vibration. You can say all the right words, visualize every day, and still block your desires if your energy says, I don't believe it. The universe listens to vibration, not language. That's why you have to focus on feeling, not forcing. You can't force energy. You have to flow into it. You shift your vibration by shifting your emotional state. Instead of trying to fix what's wrong, start embodying what feels right. When you raise your vibration to match your desire, you dissolve the gap between wanting and receiving. You begin to notice synchronicities, coincidences, opportunities that weren't visible before because you're now tuned to the frequency where those possibilities exist. Think of it like a radio station. Your desire is playing on one frequency, but you can't hear it if you're tuned to another. The song doesn't disappear, you're just not aligned with it. The moment you change your frequency, the music becomes clear. That's how energy works. You don't chase what you want, you tune into it. You become the version of you who already has it. When you vibrate at that level, you no longer chase, you attract. You no longer beg, you command through your energy. The most magnetic people aren't those who try hard to impress the world. They simply live from a state of inner wholeness, from knowing they are already enough. Becoming the energy of what you desire requires letting go of attachment to outcomes. When you're desperate for a result, you're vibrating in lack. You're sending out the message that you don't have it yet, and energy responds accordingly. Detachment doesn't mean not caring. It means trusting. It means you know it's coming because you've already become the person who deserves it. When you reach that state, your energy feels calm, centered, powerful. You no longer question when or how. You simply align and allow. That's when manifestations happen faster because your energy is clean, uncluttered by fear or doubt. Your emotional state is your compass. Pay attention to how you feel because emotions are the language of energy. If you feel anxious, you're out of alignment with your desire. If you feel at peace, you're in harmony with it. So instead of chasing results, chase alignment. Cultivate the energy that matches the life you want to live. If you want freedom, start feeling free now, even if your circumstances haven't changed. If you want success, start showing up with the energy of someone who already succeeds. The external world will eventually catch up to the internal world you've built. Energy always leads before matter follows. There's power in acting as if. Acting as if you already have what you want doesn't mean pretending. It means embodying. It means speaking, dressing, thinking, and living as the version of yourself who has already crossed the finish line. When you do that consistently, your subconscious mind starts to believe it. And once your subconscious believes, your behaviors naturally follow. Your energy transforms from wishful to certain, from hopeful to magnetic. You begin to emit a frequency that says, I am already there. And life rearranges itself to match that truth. You can feel when someone is aligned with their energy. They don't need to prove anything. They don't need to chase approval. They radiate calm confidence because their power comes from within. That's what it means to become the energy of what you desire. You stop searching and start embodying. You realize that what you've been chasing was never outside of you. It's been waiting for you to align internally. You've always been the source, the signal, the magnet. Everything you want is a reflection of the energy you hold. This alignment is a daily practice. It's not about perfection, it's about presence. You may wake up some days feeling off, but the moment you notice, you can shift. You can ground yourself in gratitude, take a deep breath, and remind yourself of who you're becoming. You can visualize the energy of your desire and let it fill your body. You can choose thoughts that lift your frequency instead of lower it. That's how you build energetic resilience. You learn to regulate your energy, to stay connected to your power even when circumstances test you. The more you practice becoming the energy of what you desire, the more natural it feels. It stops being something you do and becomes who you are. You begin to live from a higher vibration where things flow easily, people respond differently, and opportunities seem to come out of nowhere. That's not luck, that's alignment. When your energy becomes a match for your desire, the universe has no choice but to respond. You don't have to chase it, you just have to be it. Because what you are energetically, you will always attract physically. Shift now. The universe responds to motion because nothing changes until you move. Energy without action is potential wasted. You can have the vision, the desire, the dream, but if you don't move, nothing aligns. The universe meets you halfway, but it can't do your part. Too many people wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect sign, when in reality, the sign appears the second you take the first step. Motion is the language of faith. When you move, you're declaring to life, I'm ready. You're showing that you trust the process more than your fear. You're stepping into flow, and flow only happens in motion. Every shift in your life begins with a decision followed by movement. You don't think your way into transformation. You act your way into it. You shift your energy by changing your behavior, even in small ways. The smallest step forward carries more power than 1,000 hours of thinking about it. Motion breaks resistance. The moment you move, energy starts rearranging itself around your intention. Opportunities that didn't exist before begin to appear because you've shifted your vibration through action. You can't stay still and expect expansion. Growth demands motion. The reason most people never experience transformation is because they wait to feel ready. They think readiness comes before movement, but it's the other way around. Movement creates readiness. Clarity comes through action, not before it. You can't steer a parked car. You have to get moving even if you don't know the full path. Once you start, the way reveals itself step by step. The universe doesn't hand you the whole map. It responds to your motion with guidance. Each action you take sends a signal, a vibration that says, I'm serious. The moment you make that energetic declaration, life starts aligning with it. When you shift now, you disrupt patterns that keep you stuck. You break the cycle of hesitation, overthinking, and fear. You stop waiting for the perfect circumstances and start creating them. Most people stay in a state of energetic limbo, wanting change but feeding inertia. They tell themselves they'll start when it's easier, when they have more time, when things calm down, but that moment never comes. Waiting is a form of resistance. It's a way of holding on to the old frequency while pretending to desire a new one. You can't move into your next level while clinging to your comfort zone. Motion is powerful because it creates momentum. Once you take the first step, the next one gets easier. Momentum carries energy, and energy fuels belief. When you move, you prove to yourself that change is possible, and that proof builds confidence. Confidence creates consistency, and consistency builds results. That's the energy of progress. It compounds. Every small act adds up. Every shift creates ripple effects. You might not see it immediately, but energy always responds to movement. Life rewards action, not indecision. When you decide to shift now, you send a message to the universe that you're done waiting. You're done playing small. You're done negotiating with fear. That decision alone begins to alter your vibration. The energy of decisiveness is magnetic. It attracts clarity, opportunities, and people who align with your new direction. There's a frequency to action. It vibrates higher than stagnation. Even if you stumble, even if it's messy, that movement is still progress. The universe doesn't need perfection. It needs momentum. It needs to feel your energy moving toward your intention so it can meet you there. You have to stop overvaluing comfort and undervaluing action. Comfort feels safe, but it's a slow death to your potential. You weren't designed to stay still. Growth feels uncomfortable because it stretches your frequency. Every new level of your life requires a new level of motion, a willingness to be uncomfortable, to take imperfect steps. Waiting for everything to be certain before you move keeps you locked in the same vibration. Uncertainty is not a sign to stop. It's a signal to trust. You're not supposed to know the whole path. You're supposed to move with faith that each step will reveal the next. The energy of motion transforms your state instantly. You can't feel stuck when you're moving. The mind calms, fear shrinks, energy rises. Physical motion changes emotional energy. That's why when you take action, even a small one, your mood shifts, your confidence expands, and you start feeling aligned again. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take the next aligned step. Every step forward sends a signal to the subconscious mind that says, we're doing this. That signal rewires your brain, replacing fear with familiarity. The more you move, the more your nervous system adapts to progress, and soon motion becomes your natural state. There's power in urgency, not the kind that comes from panic, but the kind that comes from purpose. The kind that says, I'm not waiting another day to live the life I'm meant for. That urgency ignites energy, and that energy becomes magnetic. The universe doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards boldness. It rewards those who act in faith even when there's no guarantee, because that kind of motion carries power. It's the vibration of creation. When you shift now, you step into that energy. You stop being a spectator in your own life and become the creator. Everything you've ever wanted is waiting for you on the other side of movement. The door is already unlocked, but it won't open until you push it. The dream won't manifest until you step toward it. The energy won't shift until you move first. You are the activator. You are the initiator. Life is not responding to what you think about. It's responding to what you do. You can't align your energy with your dream by standing still. You align it through motion, through showing up, even when it's hard, even when you doubt yourself. When you move with intention, even the smallest action becomes sacred. Every step you take in the direction of your purpose builds energetic momentum that nothing can stop. You start to feel that pull, that flow, that sense that life is moving with you instead of against you. That's because motion creates alignment. You begin to vibrate at the frequency of progress, and everything that matches that energy begins to find you. Opportunities appear, timing aligns, people show up, and suddenly what once seemed impossible starts to unfold naturally. You have to understand that life doesn't wait. Energy is always shifting, always responding, always moving. The only question is whether you're moving with it or resisting it. The longer you wait, the heavier it feels because stagnation lowers your vibration. But the moment you take that first step, everything lightens. That's the power of motion. You don't need to see the finish line to begin. You just need to shift now, because every second you delay, your energy dims a little. Action reignites it. Motion restores your power. And when you move, the universe moves with you.